Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on True Confessions, Naija. The confession you're about to listen to comes from a message you received from one of our brothers, and the confession reads like this. Good evening, Uncle Ori. Hello, family. I want to share a personal story with you today. This is not easy for me to talk about, but I feel like maybe someone out there needs to hear this. Maybe my story will help someone avoid the mistakes I already made. So, here it goes. From the time I was a young boy, I always dreamt of becoming a famous DJ. Music was not just something I loved, it was like blood running through my veins. I taught myself how to record and mix beats on old equipment, and before I knew it, the whole community was talking about me. People were saying things like, "This boy is destined to be a star." There was even a time when almost everyone in my neighborhood had my tracks on their phones. I felt unstoppable. I believed with everything in me that one day the world would know my name. But life had other plans. When I grew older, I took my demo tapes to different record labels in Johannesburg. I worked from office to office with so much hope in my chest. I thought the doors of success were finally opening for me. But after dropping my demos, there was silence. No calls, no emails, nothing. It broke me. I felt invisible. I stayed in Johannesburg for about 6 months, crashing at a friend's place, waiting for a breakthrough that never came. Eventually, I gave up and returned home. When I got back, my father sat me down and said, "Son, it's time you find a real job." Those words cut me deep. I felt like the one man who always believed in me had finally lost faith. I tried looking for jobs, but the opportunities that came my way felt beneath me. I wasn't ready to give up on being an entrepreneur or music, so I convinced my father to let me open a small recording studio in our garage. To my surprise, he agreed. In fact, he even bought me some equipment to get started. At that time, I was newly married, and my wife was pregnant with our first child. Life was already hard, but when my father suddenly passed away in a tragic car accident, everything collapsed. The car he died in was the one he used for business, buying and reselling farm produce like tomatoes, onions, and cabbages. That car was our main source of income. After the accident, it was too damaged to use. We couldn't even afford to repair it. That's when survival mode kicked in. My wife and I could barely go out. We struggled to eat, struggled to keep the lights on, struggled to keep love alive. Even in bed, my wife would complain, "You have failed me. Since marrying you, life has only gotten worse." Her words hurt. But I couldn't blame her. She was right. One day, my mother suggested we build some back rooms to rent out. We did, and in no time, tenants filled them up. Most of them were foreign farm workers. Slowly, things began to stabilize again. I even managed to repair my late father's car, not fully, but enough to use it as a staff car to transport farm workers to and from their jobs. That little hustle brought us some income, and life began to feel manageable again. It was during this time that I met a man who would change everything, a Mozambican guy everyone called Mutu. I first met him while waiting to pick up some tenants. He mentioned he was looking for a laptop, and I happened to have an old one. He bought it for me, but before taking it, he asked me to load it with some music software. That's when I learned he was also a DJ with big dreams. The laptop became the bridge to our friendship. Almost every night, he would come to my studio, we would record his songs, we would sit, smoke, laugh, and talk about how we were going to make it big one day. But one night, Muto said something that shook me. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "My brother, I would do anything to be famous. even if it means joining the Illuminati. At first, I laughed it off. I thought maybe he was just high. But the more we spent time together, the more serious he sounded. He spoke about sacrifices, rituals, and how fame comes at a price. Out of curiosity, I did my own research. To my shock, I found endless stories online about celebrities linked to secret societies. My heart was torn. Was this real? Before I could figure it out, Muto got arrested at the farm where he worked. Soon after, he was deported back to Mozambique. I thought that was the end of our friendship. But months later, out of nowhere, he called me. This time, his life was completely different. He told me he was now a full-time DJ, making crazy money from gigs. He sent me pictures of himself living soft. Fancy clothes, expensive drinks, flashy cars. I couldn't believe it. He kept telling me, my brother, if you come here, you also make money, lots of money. I wanted that life. I wanted to fix my marriage. I wanted my wife to respect me again. Around that same time, temptation came knocking in another form. A beautiful young lady started coming to my studio. She seemed interested in me, and I could tell she had feelings. I tried to stay strong, but my wife discovered our chats and exploded with anger. She accused me of cheating, of neglecting her. The truth? She wasn't wrong. I was failing her. I desperately needed a miracle. That's when Muto called me again. He asked if I wanted to be rich and famous. I said yes without hesitation. He promised to connect me with his spiritual father. Days went by, and I waited for the call that never came. I started thinking maybe Muto had abandoned me. But then one night, I had a strange dream. I saw my father. He was standing in the shadows, trying to hide something behind him. When I moved closer, I realized it was my newborn baby. My father and I began to fight, and I understood something terrifying. He was trying to protect my child from me. I woke up sweating, confused, scared. A week later, Muto finally called. He gave me instructions. I had to buy 6 white eggs and 6 candles. Not just any eggs, white eggs, which were extremely hard to find. I spent my last money searching every corner of town until I finally found them. That night, I lied to my wife. I told her I'll be working late in the studio. Instead, I snuck out to the eggs and the candles, heading into the bushes as Muto instructed. What I didn't know was that my wife was secretly following me. At midnight, I stood alone in the dark, waiting for Muto's call. When it came, he connected me to his so-called spiritual leader. That man barely spoke English, so Muto acted as his translator. Step by step, he guided me to break each egg while reciting certain words. By the time I reached the last egg, my hands were trembling. And then, from behind me, my wise voice rang out, "What are you doing?" I froze. My heart dropped. Panicking, I lied. I told her I was following instructions from a church that promised to fix our marriage if I performed this ritual. To my shock, she believed me. She grabbed the last egg and candles, threw them into the bushes, and dragged me home. That night, she hugged me tightly and said, "I'm proud of you for trying to fix us." But deep inside, guilt consumed me. She had no idea I was standing on the edge of something dark, something evil. But I just followed her home like nothing ever happened. That very night, disaster struck. Our baby girl suddenly stopped breathing properly. Her body stiffened like she was being electrocuted. Foam came out of her mouth. We rushed her to the hospital in my father's old car. But as soon as I drove out, the gate of our house fell, almost crushing the car. The wind roared so fiercely that the car shook violently. At the hospital, doctors said a blood clot had entered her brain. Miraculously, she survived, but since then, she suffers from heavy nosebleeds. To this day, I can't stop thinking, was this a punishment for what I almost did? As if that wasn't enough, something even stranger happened. The same week my daughter fell ill, the phone that had Mutu's number mysteriously disappeared from our house. We searched everywhere, gone just like that. I never heard from him again. Was it fate? Was it God's way of saving me? I don't know. But I know one thing for sure. I came dangerously close to sacrificing everything for fame. And the truth is, it was never worth it. So family, that is my confession. I wanted the world to see me as a star, a famous DJ, but I almost destroyed my own family in the process. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: some shortcuts in life lead straight to destruction. If you listened this far, thank you for hearing my story. I look forward to read your views in the comment section. I'm grateful you gave me your time. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brothers. Let us try to talk to him in the comment section. Please share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you also have a confession, don't hesitate to contact us via mail in the description below. Things they really happen for this our world. Now wow.